Morning guys, today's our day to take over for Real Mums of Glow. This is little man Roman and I'm Alissa. I'm 24 years old and Roman is 4 months old. So today we'll show you what we get up to during the day, and as I was saying, I'll show you what we are going to get up to and how glow dreaming works for us, and I'll tell you a bit about us, and anything you'd like to know, just send me a DM and I'll answer it for you. Please excuse the fact I'm still in my nightie. It's only 6:30 here in Perth. We're about to give little Roman some breakfast. So I give him Farrix in the mornings with some breast milk. And you can. Hey guys, before I start, I thought I'd just show you a little hack. I don't know, it just makes things easier for me. I've frozen 5 ml slots of breast milk, and I just pop one out, let it defrost overnight in a little bowl. So then I add one of these spoonfuls of Farrix, and I also add a spoonful of his probiotics to his breakfast. And then I give it to him like that just because he's only just started solids. As you can see, someone is super keen for his breakfast. Aren't you, baby? You want a little bit of breakfast? Bit cold. That escalated a little bit quickly. He started to get a bit cranky, so he's been awake for about an hour, and sometimes he doesn't last very long after an hour and a half and needs to have a food and go back to sleep. So that's what I'm doing now, so I'll be with you shortly. What have you got to tell everyone? What are you saying? Is that right? You tell them. So I've had a few questions about my post the other night where I was tagged on the Glow Dreaming stories about how I have my little man sleeping on his tummy and how that works for us. So I find when Roman's on his back, he thrashes around still, even with his arms swaddled. He lifts his legs up and makes all sorts of movement, which often wakes him up. Whereas on his stomach, I get a longer stint of sleep as well as a more consistent sleep. He doesn't wake up as frequently and seems to just settle so much easier on his stomach. I did go to Baby Bunting and ask if there was anything that I could use to help him sleep safely on his stomach, which apparently there isn't. Because I was a bit worried as a first-time mum, and having him sleep on his stomach, apparently, well, we all know that it is a SIDS risk. So I have the breathing movement monitor under his mattress, and I keep a very close eye on him. I hear him every time he rolls or moves. I don't sleep very well as it is, so I'm always onto him, and so I keep a close eye that way. I did buy this little sleeping wedge. I'll show you. This little wedge to help keep him propped on the side. Sometimes he likes to sleep on his side, but he doesn't often like to stay in that position. But when I do have him sleeping on his tummy, I unzip his at least one, or if not both, of his arms on the swaddle suit. So at least then, if he does need to lift his head, which he has very good control over, he can use both arms to lift his head up and move his head around. So yeah, that's it. That just works for us. And I was brought up sleeping on my tummy. The lady at Baby Bunting said all her kids were. I know it's quite common. I know there is a risk, but sometimes I think you just got to do what's going to work for you and keep that extra eye on them. I thought I'd jump on and talk to you about his routine, which is almost non-existent, but there is some sort of stability in his day. I demand feed him, so he eats whenever he is hungry. I pop him to sleep after an hour or an hour and a half of awake time. So I try and give him some tummy time, play with him, read some stories in his awake time, try and wear him out a little bit, and then pop him back down. Sometimes he'll only sleep anywhere from 20 minutes to 2.5 hours. It just depends, I guess, on how he's feeling and how his night was the night before. He's a very happy, chilled baby. It's very rare that you'll hear him cry, which I am blessed with because I don't like to hear him cry. But he's so happy. At the moment, he's stargazing. I'll show you. Are you smiling to Mummy? Are you smiling to Mummy? Are you smiling? You're so happy. Even when you're tired or hungry, you're so happy. Okay. Also, another thing, as you can see, he has a dummy. He rarely likes to keep it in his mouth. I often hear him spit it out. And during the night, when you want just to have a little bit more sleep, I pop the dummy in and you can hear ting because the dummies come flying out again. He only normally uses it when he's overtired. He has a few sucks and then off he goes. Or if I need to really try and get him to settle during the night, I'll pop the dummy in. Sometimes he keeps it in for a little bit. Most of the time not. He's not too keen on it. It took me 6 weeks to get him to even like a dummy until I realised the different sizes and shapes was going to make a difference. So I tried a different one. And, yeah, this one here is just a Avent dummy. I don't know, he likes it because it's skinny, I guess. It's not a big fat one. He also takes a bottle, not very often because he hasn't had the need to, but if I need to pop out and my husband's home with him, he takes the Tommy Tippy bottles. He's had formula on a few occasions throughout his 4 months of living. When he was first born, he found it a bit difficult to latch on and wasn't getting much milk at all. So, yeah, as I was saying, he's only had formula a few times because I normally express breast milk. He takes the formula fine and he takes the bottle fine, so I could go back and forward and it wouldn't make a difference for him. I just try and stick to boob as much as possible. I know fed is best, and as long as he's being fed, that's all that matters. But yeah, I'm glad that he takes formula as well as the bottle quite easily. It makes it a lot less stressful for me when I do need to pop out or go somewhere. I also wanted to mention that I can't remember now because baby brain's kicked in. Does anyone else still have baby brain? Apparently Remy, you doing a poo? That's lovely. I don't think the Glow Dreaming fan want to hear you do a poo. Oh dear. Oh dear. You're so guilty. What are you doing there? You done a poo? Oh dear. I change your body years. I can't deal with 2 years of this brain. Oh, I can barely remember anything important. I remember the stupid stuff that's, not essential to remember. But the not important stuff sticks around in my head like it was supposed to be there. Hey guys, we're back now. We had an appointment before. Like I was talking about before with the routines, I work in daycare, so I have seen every single routine you could probably think of. I've worked in daycare for almost 10 years and I've seen dummies being used, swaddles, white noise, all sorts of things, comforters, ruggies, blankets. And before I had Roman, I always said, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. I'm going to be very strict. I had him and that all went out the window. He's had formula, he's used a bottle, he has a dummy, he sleeps with me half of the time because I always fall asleep breastfeeding. Then we just end up snuggling together in bed. So yeah, expectations before having a baby are way too high. I always used to think, I'm always going to have my hair done, my makeup done, my house is going to be super clean, and none of that happens. I think to myself now that having a baby and spending time with them is the most important thing. The housework can get done another time. It's not a necessity. And they're only going to be this little once. So if you're about to have a baby or you've just had a baby, don't beat yourself up, because I did for such a long time. I had all these expectations of what I should be doing and I've thrown them all out the window. I have a lot of friends that have had babies as well as my mother's group, and that's our motto. Like, we don't prioritize the housework and stuff. Obviously, if you've got another child, it's a bit different, but I don't want to waste my precious time with Roman on cleaning or doing things when I could be playing with him and spending that quality time with him. So don't beat yourself up. If you don't get that stuff done, it can always get done another time. Also, while I remember, the ice cube tray that I showed you before with the breast milk in it, that was from Kmart for $1.50, and it comes with a lid, so that way there's no cross-contamination or anything in your breast milk. So $1.50 from Kmart, and I thought as well, once I start vegetable purees, I can pop them in there as well and then pop one out at a time. It makes it so much easier than having separate containers in the freezer. So if you wanted to have a look at that, they sell them at Kmart. Guys, I forgot to mention, I have another little tip that helps me with my baby brain and trying to remember how often little man has slept or how long he slept for. On my phone, I use my notes and I put down the time he's woken up, the time he goes down for a nap, the time he wakes up, and I do that all day. And if I can remember to do it during the night when I wake up for feeds, it helps me just keep track of how long he's sleeping and how many hours he's actually getting during each nap and awake time, and then I can work on that. Okay, so Roman's only done 40-minute naps today, if that. And I go to the kitchen to go and wash the dishes and take something out for dinner. And I can hear the monitor go. Say hi, everyone. Like, today's just one of those days where he wants me with him all day. And I'm not going to get anything done. But you know what? It's okay because it's not important. It'll get done later. And I'd much prefer to be relaxing, to be honest. Wouldn't you, Roman? You look very pretty with butterflies. You look very pretty. Hey guys, I thought I'd come on and have a chat with yous. And I just wanted to share some essentials I thought worked amazing when I first had Roman and that have helped us through that newborn stage and still use to this day. So the first item that I highly recommend is Nipple Shields. Obviously, I don't suggest you use them without consulting maybe a midwife or a doctor first. But I do recommend if you're having trouble with your nipples and trying to breastfeed, I use them solely because when I first had my milk come in, it engorged my boobs, so it flattened the nipple and I wasn't able to get him to latch on properly. So a midwife suggested it to me and we tried them and I religiously used them for about 2 months. And then after that, obviously, I was comfortable enough to try without, but they saved my life, my mental state, because I was stressing that he wasn't eating or latching properly, and my nipples, because they were so sore and raw at the start, it actually sort of shielded that a bit. So Nipple Shields number 1. But like I said, maybe speak to someone before you go and get them. So I'm not don't take my advice purely for it, but they definitely work wonders for me. Number 2, he had quite a bad tummy when he was born. Apparently, all breastfed babies, it takes a while for their tummies to get used to the breast milk. So he was quite windy and he would get sore tummy and it would wake him up. When I saw my midwife, she was amazing and she recommended I use a baby probiotic called Kiara, but it's spelled Qiara. So they're baby biotics for breastfed babies. So you just added half a sachet with breast milk or water. I prefer to use breast milk. Obviously, it's boiled water at that point. And feed it to them that way. That really helped his stomach. So he's quite settled now. Obviously, now that we're introducing Pharax and some solids, it is not upsetting his stomach, but his stomach has to get used to it. Also, now that we've finished those ones, I've moved to bioceuticals just because my midwife was ages away and they don't sell the ones that I used to use where I go to the chemist. So bioceuticals is just as good. They all do. So he does have baby biotics every day. Now that he's having his solids, I mix it in with the Pharax and the breast milk together instead of doing it separate. At least then, I don't know, it just makes it easier for me, and he's having it directly rather than me diluting it with milk. He's having it with his food, I guess. I don't know. Makes it easier for me. So he has that. Obviously my little glow dreaming machine, which you can sort of see over my shoulder. I've been using that since he was about 2 weeks old. Obviously not the diffuser part, but the light and sound. Although my husband did say it was annoying at the start, I find it very therapeutic and it helps me fall asleep. Roman still doesn't sleep all the way through the night. We have had some good nights where there's only 1 or 2 wake-ups, but the glow dreaming definitely helps him stay asleep, and he does look for it. There's been times I've sent glow dreaming pictures of him trying to break his neck to see his little light so he can go to sleep. So that's his little routine. He knows he goes to sleep with his light on and his sound on, and if it's not on, he doesn't sleep for as long or doesn't settle as easy. So it's definitely a must-have in our household. Yesterday I tried to put him down for a nap in his room, in his cot for the first time, so I made sure his little glow dreamer was in there, and he slept for about 40 minutes, which is great because he's never slept in his cot before. So he had his little glow dreaming there to keep him settled and comfortable. Another item that I think is bloody amazing is the Love to Dream swaddle suit. So this one here didn't like his arms being wrapped in your typical blanket swaddle. He always took them out, and I was stressing out during the night because the blanket would rise higher and higher. So then I was recommended a swaddle suit, which he is now wearing. One with the arms, obviously you couldn't unzip the arms, but I've gotten the next size up with the transitional arms so that when he sleeps on his tummy I can unzip them. But like I said, without it he doesn't sleep for as long. He still has a startle reflex and he wakes himself up. So they're the 4 main items that I religiously swear by, and if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask anything that may pop into your head. I just thought I'd share them because they made my life so much easier. In case you are wondering why I haven't left the house today, it is 38 plus degrees in Perth, and it's actually 40 degrees for the rest of the week here. So we have avoided the heat and stayed inside in the aircon. We are actually in Roman's bedroom having a little play. I try and bring him down here as often as I can so he can get used to a new environment and just spend a bit of time in here. So that's what he's doing at the moment.
Stripping the blocks from the most pathetic human being, because all they talk about is what a loser I am. Is it my job? Sure, I take one for the family team. Right, but then you as our manager, you should want this show to be successful. You should talk to Courtney and say, okay, Courtney, if you're not willing to bring anything to the table, then you're done. It's just everyone needs a consequence. Let's show her. She doesn't want to show up. She doesn't want to work. There's too many boundaries. She's out. Oh, but we both feel this way, not because we're making it up. I want you, it's not just today, Mom. This is serious. It's not something that you're going to get by with us on a phone call and then you're like, okay, you pacified us for a second. No. What do you bring to the table? Step it the up. If you don't want me on the show, I don't have to be on the show. All right, so let's pick up you and
You trying to crawl or are you tired now? Hey guys, sorry I've been a bit distant. I have quickly had to start making dinner and Roman's been a bit of a whinge, so I haven't had a chance to drop on. But I'm just making some vegetable and chicken curry. If you're interested in knowing what's in there, just let me know. So dinner is almost finished getting organised. This one here is whinging, and I just put coconut cream everywhere, rice everywhere. And little man needs to have a shower and go to bed because he's like 2 or 3 hours out of his little routine. So yeah. Anyone else have this struggle at night time? Normally I'm not on dinner because my husband is a qualified chef, so I don't normally have to worry about this, but he's a bit busy, so I thought I'd help out and get dinner organised. But someone doesn't want to be put down. He needs to eat, needs to sleep, needs to shower. I'm trying not to burn dinner, otherwise we'll have nothing to eat. Anyway, thank you all for listening to me talk today. If I have anything else exciting to talk about, I'll hop back on. But for now, I need to sort out my little man and have some dinner. Talk to you soon, guys. Before